system can do. Power goes down, you can't get your garage door opener, your gate open. Home UPS makes a lot of sense. And why I'm spending so much time and talking about this is we all had that exhilarating rush of money we were making on the housing bubble, and then it crashed, okay? And now some of it, not here per se necessarily, but some communities, those communities are devastated. It's such a tragic loss, and as investors, we tend to create sometimes the conditions that become our own undoing. You know, we all kind of knew that there was no way that those real estate prices were real, and they had to bust eventually. You know, if you travel back and forth across the nation, you see the differences in housing prices in some communities. You just knew, or I did anyhow, that this was unsustainable. So when you're looking to invest, if you are the type of investor that invests in your own region, look towards that centralized or that decentralized model. It's going to build a stronger community for your investment. I would certainly rather live in a neighborhood where my neighbors have solar panels, they have sustainable home systems, because if a natural disaster or an economic disaster occurred, these people are much more stable, much better to be around, and so forth. So really, it's no good investing in some sector that's going to collapse one day, right? Investing in your community if your investments are actually going to develop a situation that's going to collapse your community.
Speaking of natural disasters, if there is one and you don't have battery backup, is there any way, if you're a grid feed only, to continue to have power to your house?
There is, but you've got to disconnect off the grid. There's a safety switch in there, so that if a line fell down, Edison chops the power in the neighborhood. They don't want your solar panel turning that line live. Okay? But again, if you don't have a storage system, you're not going to have power at night. It's just as simple as that. You know.
How about getting off the grid to where, you know, that's not an issue?
It's a good thing if you want to afford it to yourself. We did take on that line of lithium-powered batteries for that specific reason. I'm not very keen on seeing gel cells or any lead-acid-based battery in a home. I own sailboats. I know it can happen to them. Something goes wrong, fluid levels get down, they get hot, they expand, they explode. Not the kind of thing you want inside the home per se. Yes, you can rack mount them outside, but if your homeowners are going to keep due diligence on the maintenance of that system, it can become a hazard around the house. So the lithium, certain types of lithium, certainly are a viable alternative, but they're pricey. They truly are pricey.
So from that standpoint, it might be best to wait for an electric car to use that as a backup?
That's not a bad idea at all. It's a very good idea. Which comes kind of towards the interior national security. It's a big consideration. I was 10 years in the oil industry. The last 3 years of it, I was a consultant working for head offices, typically for the head geologist. I have keen insight into how the oil game is played. And it literally is nothing but a game. There's more oil out there than we could ever hope to burn. It's all about manufacturing scarcity. It really is, and nothing other than that. And of course, you could meter a barrel of oil very easily, and it takes a tremendous amount of technology to extract it and refine it. So it becomes a very safe technology for any of those who have that technology, as opposed to those who do not have that technology. I really like solar power for a couple of reasons. Certainly one of them is that it's not something that you're going to weaponize very easily. It's safe to have around the home. A rock would do you better in a scuffle. It's not, I mean, there are little mini nuclear plants that you can get. They cost you around $50,000, but not necessarily safe to have around. But national security, solar power, the fuel's 100% domestic and free. Well, free in a context, but you know, there is a startup cost. But we don't have any supply chains. We're not going to get into fight anybody over how much sun we have. We're not going to be establishing elite oligarchies and so forth who control the power riches of the world. And this all comes back again to the decentralization issue. If you allow the centralization of solar energy, it will come back to bite you as a population. You have a window of opportunity. I recommend everybody push hard for regional, local power production, if that's where you like to invest. As roof power generation decreases, the effect of grid power outages decrease. Example, the 2003 blackout is a prime example. I was back east when that occurred. We were fortunate. We were actually out camping, and it didn't affect us too bad. But we did lose everything that was in the fridge and the freezer. But it was caused by a power fluctuation on a single power plant. Okay. $5 to $6 billion were lost. So if you're investing in your region, and you invest in a way that all that power is now centralized, and a single event stops that power, that region loses $5 to $6 billion. It's money that's not coming to invested into your businesses or spent there because people lost it. I know that when we lost all the food in the freezer and so on and so forth, it took a little dent on the wallet, right? And there were things that we didn't spend. We didn't go out to restaurants. We didn't hit, a couple of things, right, that we might have otherwise done with that seemingly liquid cash. So solar energy is a pretty safe bet for the energy security of our nation. And I'll conclude it there. I do have limited time, so if you've got questions, please fire them at me.
You're also doing things like solar water heating. You do those types of installs?
Yeah, we certainly do that. We call it alternative heating. There's a lot of different ways you can heat water. You can create enough water and store it in an insulated tank where you've got heat coming at night. That's an option. You can also set up just panels that they capture the sun's energy. They circulate air through the home, through the panel, back into the home. Very viable technologies, all of it.
And wind generation, you will install wind generators
We
as well?
certainly will. I didn't put it up here.
Okay.
There just isn't that much request for it, but certainly it's really not any different in terms of the electrical installation side of it. The construction aspect of setting the mounting systems up is a little different, but very, very similar technology.
And wouldn't you say that, generally speaking, most solar companies, they have their own crew, but as the business picks up, they've got to rely on subcontractors outside their normal crew, so you'd be looking for help to get this stuff going?
We have our own people, but once they're busy, we do use subcontractors. We're quite selective about it. I require, as president, I said it, we want a 10-year warranty on all our workmanship, whether it's plumbing, whether it's landscaping, unless there's some valid reason why a 10-year warranty is impractical. So we do require quite a bit out of the subcontractors.
Okay.
Good.
Any other questions before Kevin heads out the door?
How many installers do you have now?
We have 3 people that we keep running.
You guys staying busy right now?
We are almost too busy for our own abilities.
Actually.
Like I said, we have a pool of subs that we can pull on, particularly out of just one large company that my partner is the son of the owner. So, we use their guys.
You worked up here in the Santa Barbara area, you just haven't been here?
Yeah, we worked in Santa Barbara, certainly. We were at the Home Expo. I don't know if anybody saw us there.
I did.
Attended down there.
Are there reduced rates for groups of homes? Are there reduced rates for groups of homes?
You can, certainly. Anytime you're getting into some economy of scale there. When I started selling the systems, we were selling around $9 a watt. I can easily talk $6 a watt to somebody now. We're actually bidding a job. 1.5 megawatts, and it's probably gonna go in around $4.50 a watt. So certainly, anytime you can get a pool of people together, it just helps, definitely.
We were talking about leasing a rooftop. Now, you get 100% return on that money, or is it still the 5% overage?
Oh, okay, you talk commercial applications.
Right.